Hello and welcome. My name is Keith Hensley with CoreLogic, and it's my pleasure to bring you this webinar on MLS Touch, which is your product spotlight of the month there in FMLS. So what we're going to do is pretty much start from start to finish. We're going to start with introducing you to this app called MLS Touch, which basically puts the MLS in the palm of your hand. And your MLS system is Matrix. So what this MLS Touch app will do is connect and synchronize a lot of stuff with your Matrix account there in FMLS. Now, how do you install MLS Touch? So, like I said, let's kind of start from the basics here. And some of you may have already installed the app, but I don't want to assume that everyone has. So, as long as you can get on a mobile device and you have access to either the Android's Google or the Google Play Store, which Android uses, or the App Store, which iPhones use, all you're going to do is search for MLS Touch. And it should look like this here, and you'll know it's the right one because of the 4 slash marks there, the blue slash marks there. So what you're going to do on a tablet, on an iPad, on an iPhone, on an Android phone, as long as it's got a mobile device, you can just download it from those 2 stores there, and then it'll put it on your mobile device that you're using. Now today, I'm going to be using my iPhone. Okay, so if you're on an Android device, some of the options might look a little different, but they'll still be there, especially when it comes to the maps, because Android likes to use Google Maps and iPhones like to use Apple Maps. Okay. Again, if you can do it on a tablet or an iPad, it might look a little different on each of those, but you should basically be able to do the same stuff there. So once you have MLS Touch installed on that mobile device, how do you log into MLS Touch? Well, what you're going to do is open it up, and first thing it's going to do is ask you for what state you're in, and you're going to pick Georgia. Now, I'm not totally familiar with the FMLS area out there, but I think you could even pick Alabama, because members in Alabama, East Alabama, I think it is, can also choose FMLS in there too. Okay, so you're just going to pick the state that you're a member of with FMLS. I'm going to pick Georgia here, and then it's going to ask me, and I'm going to choose First MLS. Like I said, I think I could have also picked Alabama, and then I would see First MLS in there too, under the East Alabama MLS system there. And then once you pick First MLS and hit confirm, it takes you to the login screen. Type in your same user ID and same password that you do when you log into Matrix, okay? And then when you hit sign in, it takes you right to the home page there, okay? And that's what MLS looks like. MLS Touch looks like it's that right there, okay? Now, before I close down this PowerPoint, I just kind of like to introduce you to the homepage here in MLS Touch there. In the very top left, I'm going to demonstrate the map search. Okay, map search is one of the most popular ways of searching inside the app here. This is where you can draw a shape on the map. You can zoom in, zoom out, move it around, and you can also add in criteria such as price range, bedrooms, bathrooms, property types, and narrow it down to that map location that you have pulled up. Underneath that is another way of searching. It's not as popular as the map search or even as the advanced search, but this is if you know an MLS number. You can type in up to 10 MLS numbers by going into the search by number section there, and then hit search, and you'll pull up those properties that you just typed in there. Underneath that is a really cool feature. I really like this one. Now, this is only as good as you allow MLS Touch to know your location, okay? Because on mobile devices, well, they're mobile for a reason, because people take them with them as they go places there. So as you drive around town, and as long as you're allowing your location to be shared with the app called MLS Touch, when you are within 410 feet of a listing or listings, because it could be an apartment complex or condo unit, and as long as you're within 410 feet, basically just pull up in front of the house, on the driveway there. When you hit InstaView, it'll know your location and it'll show you every listing that's within 410 feet of you. Now, I won't be able to demonstrate that to you today because I'm not in Georgia. In fact, I'm in the state of Michigan, up in Grand Rapids, Michigan. That's where my home office is, where I live. And I say that because you're going to see it when I do driving directions on the property. It's going to drive me all the way from where I'm at to that listing, wherever I find it at there. And it's also important to know that as you do a map search or advanced search or MLS number search or an InstaView, it's got to be in matrix for first MLS. Okay, it's got to be in matrix. If it's not in your MLS system, then you're not going to be able to find it. So if you take your phone with you up here to Michigan and do a search, you know, you got to ask yourself, is that listing in first MLS? Okay, so it's only as good as what your MLS has access to. Now, this one of the top two, besides the map search as a searching feature, is the advanced search. Advanced search is where you'd probably come right in and do an address search. Type in the street number, street name, or put in search criteria such as the county or city or zip code or property type, price, bids, BAS status, and so much more in there. Okay, so I'll definitely show you that one along with the map search. Now, as you do a map search or advanced search, you're always able to save it in MLS Touch, and that's where you retrieve them is under this tab here called Save Searches. Not only do you find the searches that you saved inside of MLS Touch, but you also will find all the saved searches that you have inside of Matrix as well. Not auto emails. Auto emails at this time don't synchronize with MLS Touch, but your saved searches do. Okay, so I'll talk about that as well. Whenever you find properties in MLS Touch, you're always able to tag it or star it as a favorite, and that's where you retrieve all the ones that you saved as a favorite. They'll be in that section there. And then when you go back in that section, you can take the star off if you're done with it, if you don't need to remember it anymore. But that's where you find them here. And then this last button here on your home page is Hot Sheet. Hot Sheet is not the same Hot Sheet as what you see inside of Matrix, but it's very similar. Hot Sheets are basically things where you pick your date range and search criteria like your neighborhoods or your cities or counties, and you can watch what's happening in the last day or 2 days or a week or 2 weeks or a month there, and it kind of gives you an update of all the activity that's been going on. And then down here on this very bottom row, I will take you through this here near the end. And in the last part of this webinar, last 10, 15 minutes or so, we'll get into the More section. Because under the More is where the action takes place. You can connect MLS Touch to your business page on Facebook, and you can brand your app with your company logo and color scheme. But here's the kicker. You can also share this MLS Touch app with your clients, and not just clients that you're currently working with, but you can also advertise the share button, whether it's on your business page in Facebook, or you just start telling people on your marketing materials, maybe your email signature, but you can generate leads inside of MLS Touch, and I'll show you that near the end, how you can generate leads or brand it and then share it with your contacts there. So it's a really pretty powerful tool, and I want to show you that there. And speaking of branding, before we jump in live, as you share your app with your clients, they don't get the same version of MLS Touch that you do. They get a client version that will have your logo. I have my CoreLogic logo and my company color schemes, which is the navy blue and orange in here, that it would be branded. And if they would click on my agent, they would see me and my listings and my contact information. If you shared it, they would have your contact information and your logo and color schemes. And as you email or text listings from MLS Touch, even the flyers that they receive from you will be branded also with your picture and logo and color schemes also there. And not just those two options, but hopefully you know about OneHome. OneHome is the client portal. Remember when you go into Matrix and you email listings to your clients there? Well, if you don't brand MLS Touch, well, we won't brand One Home either. It'll have that generic look, that non-branded teal blue background with the One Home logo. But when you do brand MLS Touch, it will also brand One Home, and it'll change it to your logo and your color scheme. So that way everything is branded to you with your look and feel, your picture, your company logo, your color schemes there, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna close down my PowerPoint presentation and I'm gonna pull cell phone on here. Okay, well, I like to have Matrix open for first MLS, okay? So I got my Matrix system open, the same one that I've got my MLS Touch logged in there. Okay, yeah, it says hello Andrew up here, but I've actually changed it to, I have my name there. I'm using a generic trainers one that is connected to Andy Murphy, and I just kind of changed it with my branding there. Andy will probably change it back to him once I'm done here. So this is MLS Touch, okay? And like I said, I have Matrix in the background for a reason. I'm going to explain it as I go through this here. So when you log in, we'll know who you are. See my photo up there? In fact, if I tap on it there, it takes me to the More section. See the More button down here? That's where it takes you to. One of those handouts that I have on this webinar is how to add your photo to MLS Touch, okay? And what it does, it takes you to a website where you can upload your photo and put it there, okay? So that's what that handout is for. It's called adding your photo to MLS Touch. Okay. So that's how you get it there, and then of course we know your name and company you work for there. Now this envelope right next to my name here, if I tap on it, is a section for messages. And in messages, I can only message those people who have installed the client version of MLS Touch. Here, let me get back down. That's MLS Touch right there, or the client version. So that's what your clients will download there. This is what we use. They use that. So, so as I email this to clients like Brent Adams here, who's in my contact list, and because he has the client version, we can message each other back and forth and communicate things. He can say what he likes, and I can respond to it and go back and forth. But it's only as good as I have people installing the client version of my app, okay? And like I said, if I hit this More button down there, it does the same thing. It takes me to that same section there. But that's where we'll finish up today. So to get started, I kind of gave you a tour of what MLS Touch looks like here. I kind of briefly talked about everything here. Let's go in and do a search. So I'm going to click on Advanced Search right here. And when I open it up, it says select a county or states or zip code. So if I pick on county, and then right here it says select a county, if I open this up, I can do a search for counties. Now remember, it's only as good as what the listings are inside of FMLS there, okay? So if I pick a place in California and stuff, well, ask yourself the question, is that listing inside of Matrix for first MLS there, okay? So I'm gonna go up here and do a search, and I'll do a search for Cobb County. And when I pick Cobb County and I hit done, or apply, I'm sorry, see that the apply was up there. Now there's another option. Well, what city or cities do I want to search for in that county or counties that I chose? And now when I go in here, I can say, well, I want to do Eckworth, I want to do Kennesaw and Marietta. And then right up there, I'm going to hit apply. I could then go to my property type, and do I want all residential or just single family? Do I also want, let's say, all residential? And how about apartments and condos too? Well, that's up to you. You choose what you like there, and then you hit apply. If you hit cancel, it just takes you back. You're going to notice up here in the upper left-hand corner is your navigational ways that take you back or to close things down there. So if I hit the X, it just takes me back out. Well, if I hit advanced search again, of course, I can do a search for county and then city or state or zip code there. But let's look at the second line down. You notice that no matter which of those three options I had selected there, The second one is your way of searching for an address. So let's say I knew the street number was 566 or 5669, but I forgot the street name. I don't know. Okay, so I just do 5669. I know it's residential. If I zoom up or roll this up a little bit, I know it's active. In fact, let me open this status up here. It could be under contract or coming soon or even pending. So let me just pick all those there. But I know the street number was 5669. I'm going to go down here and hit search, and it's going to pull up all the 5669s. Well, there it is on Hollowbrook. Okay, and this is what you're going to see also. Okay, so I'm going to come back to this in a second. But like I just showed you, there's your navigational arrow that takes you right back. Well, let's say I didn't know the street number 5669. I knew it was, I know it's Brook. It's got Brook in the name. Now, I don't know if it has an E after the K or not, and I'm not sure if it starts with Brook or ends in Brook. I just know it's Brook. Okay, same thing, residential and active and coming soon. So let me search, and it's going to find every listing that has Brook in it. That's active, residential, coming soon, pending, and here's all Brooks. See Brookdale, Brookmore, and if I would go down here, let me do this really fast here, and I'm sure my one listing is in here somewhere. Yeah, just trust me, it's in there. There's Brook Hollow there, okay? And this is a reason why I wanted to get a lot of listings here, because whenever you get several listings, you get a little preview like this. It's got a little color code of the status. You can see the picture and some basic information there. But look up here at the top. You can see there's 335 total results. MLS Touch will only show you the first 300 here. But I can switch from the list view to the map view, and now I'm looking at all these on a map there. There's even some down in here in Mobile, Alabama there. Oop, let's zoom in a little bit. So as I zoom in, as you change the map, it's just going to refresh, and now there's 300. If I zoom in more, and I think purple is coming soon, I think, pending or orange. I'm not sure what yellow, maybe yellow is coming soon. I'm not really sure of the color codes there. But you can see it when I go back to list view. See the orange is pending, active orange or green, and under contract is yellow. So yeah, I think purple is the coming soon there. Let's go back to search here. And so remember, I went to map right here, and as I zoom in on the neighborhood there, it just kind of refreshes there. And it's going to give me my total here. Now there's 111 there. If I go to list, there's the 111 there. If I go to stats, there's the stats of those 111 listings. So pretty simple to use, I think, there. And if I see it this way, just above the results, do you see filters? If I click on filters, it just takes me back to my search criteria that I had there. Let me hit cancel there. But look at the little traffic light, or a snowman as we call it up here in the north here. It's actually an ellipsis. If you tap on that there, this is where you can say, I want to add some of these to my favorites, or I want to email or text some of these. Or in fact, let's say I got a client in my car and I want to add it to someone's cart there. Okay, see carts and matrix here? I'm going to demonstrate that one here in a second. So that's how you can say send by email, and now it opens up, and now you just start checking the ones you want to email to your clients there. Okay, but or select all or deselect all, but I'll just hit done. And now when I hit done, let's just go back out there. Okay, so all I did was to search for Brook. But of course, the more I type in like 566.9, 5669, Hollow, Brook, the more you do, the more exact you'll get. Now search, and of course I found it. Now let's say this is the property that Brent wanted me to go show him. Okay, so that's what I like to use the carts for. I want to keep track of every property that I show all my clients, and this is the cart I have for my client Brent, who's a colleague of mine, a colleague and a friend of mine that I like to use as demonstration there. So right now you can see in Matrix, the cart has 16. But if I go and click on that property, there we go. One, I can tag it right here as a favorites, untag it, tag it again. That's one way I could add it to the cart. Remember the ellipsis or that traffic light I showed you? That was another way I could have added it to a cart. I could share it. So if I go to share, I could text it to him, I could email to him, and because he's downloaded the client version of the app, I could send it to him in a message there, my app to his app, or I can copy the MLS number there. So I'm just going to hit cancel here. I can even click on showing a request, and it'll set up a showing request through showing time here, and I could set that up. If I hit add to cart, this is where I could say, let's add it to Brent's cart. Now, he already has a cart, and you can see that here, 16 listings. See right there, 16. It synchronizes between Matrix and MLS Touch. Do I want to create a second cart for Brent? No, I don't need a second one, so I'll just add it to this cart right here. And when I tap it, it'll add it there and give me just a few moments. I'll refresh Matrix and that 16 will jump to 17 there, okay? So as I see this, I can scroll through and look at all 43 photos that this agent has on this beautiful home here. If I just tap on that, it opens up a little image viewer, and I've got my rotation set up on my cell phone. So if I rotate my cell phone, it makes it much bigger, and then I can just zoom in and zoom out, or just rotate it back and close that photo down there, okay? You can see days on market, active status. Here's some basic. If I scroll over, you can see a little bit more information here. I already showed you share, showing, add to cart, but look at this one here. And I'm not talking about print. Yeah, you can print too if you're connected to an air printer. But if I click on comparables right there, any property I pull up, I can have MLS Touch help me find some comparable properties. Now, do I want those comparables to be sold or on the market? Well, if I leave it at sold and I have, plus or minus 20% of this listing's price, and within 2 miles of this listing with the same number of bedrooms, when I hit that search button there, it's going to try to find some comparables that are sold. And here you can see I found 19 of them, actually 18, because one of them is my subject property there. If I go to the list of those 19, there's my subject property, but there's those comps that are within 2 miles, plus or minus 20% of the price range, and they have the same number of bedrooms there, okay? So all I did was hit this button on any property you find, just hit comparables, and I'm actually gonna lower that to 15 and 1 mile. Now hit search, and now I found 5, or actually 4, because again, one of them is my subject property there, okay? So really nice feature, and I could have done on-market listings too, just to see. As I scroll down, you can see the map, see in 3D, but let's say Brent's in the car with me. He says, hey, can we go see this property? Sure. What I could do is hit directions. Now remember, I'm sharing my location and I'm in Grand Rapids, Michigan. So it's going to give me driving directions all the way from Grand Rapids, Michigan, and it's only going to take me just over 11 and a half hours there. And that's if we don't stop or eat or go to the bathroom or anything there. If I go up here to the top where it says MLS Touch, this takes me right back out, okay? So I like that feature. If I hit private notes are just for me. If Brent uses his client version of the app that I shared with him, he can leave his own private notes there too, and I don't see them. General information, this is just basic listing information from the listing agent there. Remarks, there's a remarks there. Rooms, I can click on rooms. Showing instructions, they're showing instructions. Now, when Brent is using his app, the client app that I shared with them, he sees a lot of this information, but nothing too much information. Like realist, he doesn't see the realist tax data here, okay? If I open this up, realist will show all the realist tax data there, and it's basically pulling it from right here, which is realist. where it's getting that realist tax data from within Matrix there. He will have the mortgage calculator or estimator. Okay, you do too. He does not see the listing agent's name and number there. I can click on this and see the listing agent's name and contact information there. Okay, but he won't see that there. In fact, that's why I want him to use this app, because I don't want him using another app that does show the listing agent's name and number. Okay, so all this information, he only gets to see that as customer friendly or client friendly there. Now, there was a question about the documents from Matrix there. I am not seeing them show up. This is normally where they would show up, so I don't think they're set up for whatever reason. I have no idea why, but that's where they would show up if they were available there. Okay. Let me close this down. Okay, let me switch this from list back to map view here. And if I do this, there's the map view. And the reason why I want to show you this here is look at the boundary lines. All that boundary lines is coming from Realist, your tax records there. Okay, it's kind of behind the scenes here. And this might look a little different if you're on an Android phone. I'm on an iPhone today. Okay, see, I'm using Apple Maps. Android systems like to use Google Maps. So instead of the eye that we have on Apple Maps on iPhones or Apple devices like a iPad, you would have on an Android, you'd have like two boxes on top of each other, where I have an eye. They both do the same thing. When you click on it, it takes you into map settings where you can toggle between the map view or a satellite view if that's what you want to look at. And they'll both allow you to turn on schools, traffic, boundaries. See, I get the boundaries turned on in the background. But watch this, I'm going to turn on flood zones. If I do that and then close this down, I get a little legend of what the color codes are. So the yellow up here is the 500-year floodplain, whereas the orange is out of the special hazard area. If I move that down, I can zoom out a little bit, and now you can see the flood zones a little better here. Come on. Here's my legend here. Again, there we go. It's moving a little slow there. There you can see it's 100-year floodplain. Okay. There's a little star right there. That means I saved it as a favorite there. At any time I can save this search, which I don't think I really want to save this search. Let me hit the eye again and turn off flood zones. Let me turn on schools and zoom out a little bit, and you'll see some schools populate here. Let's zoom out a little bit. There we go. See right down there, there's the school, there's the school, there's the school. If you click on that little bright green mortar board, there's Ford Elementary School on Mars Hill Road. If I tap on that one there, it's Frey Elementary School on Mars Hill Road, okay? So if I go up here, I can turn schools back off and so forth there. There's my list, there's my stats, but let's go back out, okay? So all I did was to search by an address, but you know what? You don't have to do it that way. You can say, I want everything within, let's do my county again, Cobb. Done. Let's hit apply. Now let's do my city. Let's do, I'll just do Marietta. I know there's a lot of listings there. Then I can do my property type. Let's say I just want single family, hit apply. Price range here, I can just do this little wheel here and get my price range. We'll do everything million to 1.3. Beds and baths. I think this is all pretty self-explanatory. There's my statuses. I can open that back up again. I can even look for solds out there. So I'm going to pick all my statuses in here. I just want actives. Let's hit apply. Now, if that's not enough criteria, which sometimes it's not, I understand that, we can hit more criteria. Now we got more stuff in here that I could search for. Not everything, but there's just a lot there. So now if I do my search, there's the results, 39 of them. Remember, you can always save this at any time you want and give it a name. I'll just call it today's date, 2024, and hit save. And now you'll know, remember, if I close this out, I retrieve all those searches right here under Save Search. There's the one I just saved. That was the one I did the other day. But remember, you also got matrix right here. If you go to matrix, these are my saved searches that are in matrix. So right here in matrix, and I go to save searches, these are going to be the same ones that I have over here. Okay, so you might want to think about that is as you're using the app, is there searches that you really like to utilize? Maybe let's say they have a map involved, because when you go into map searching in matrix and you click on map, you can draw a lot of shapes. Yes, I can do that here in the app, but it's not as great as it is, or as easy as it is here in matrix here. So you might want to do your map shapes here and then save it as a saved search. That way it'll be here, and then you can utilize it here in MLS Touch. Now, once you come in here, see all these 4 searches that I have, I cannot modify them in MLS Touch. I have to go into Matrix to change the search criteria or to delete them, okay? So I cannot change them. I can just utilize them here in the app, okay? Let's go back to the home page here. So that's your save searches. Let me real quick click on map search here. I kind of already showed you those tools. I didn't show you the pencil though. So let me get to a location here and let's utilize the pencil. Now, Android users have a pencil where you can draw shapes, but it's down in here somewhere, okay? But it's still there. If you tap on the pencil, it becomes a darker pencil. That means you can now use your finger and draw a shape. If you tap the pencil again, it clears the shape and everything comes back in. You can tap it again and do your best to draw your shape. But you can only draw one shape at a time. That's why using matrix, you can draw multiple shapes. And it's a little easier than using your finger to search, but you can do it. So if I tap it again, it just goes away. And remember, you can always hit the save search button down here at any time and save it there. But you can also, with the map, and if I tap that and I draw my shape, I can still go to filters here and add in my price range, bedrooms and bathrooms, or more criteria if I need to. Let me hit cancel here, okay? I don't know about you, but have you ever used the map on your phone and you've been playing with this and moving this around, and then all of a sudden you get disoriented, like, where am I? Well, that's what this last arrow button is, or on an Android, it's down here, and I think it's like a little crosshairs or target symbol on there. But it's what I call the Find Me button. Again, as long as you're sharing your location with MLS Touch, you hit that, it'll find you. But remember where I'm at today. I'm in Grand Rapids, Michigan. So that's where I live right there. So if I zoom out, you can see I am southwest area of Grand Rapids, pretty close to Holland, Michigan and Lake Michigan. But let's drive on down to Atlanta area and get down there. So that's a really nice feature that if I was in the Atlanta area, it would find me and I would have that little blue blinking dot there. My phone's moving, or this emulator here is moving really slow. Sorry about that. It's the screenshot here. But as I do that there, let's zoom out a little bit, you'll start to see properties found here, okay? There we go. See, there's 8 of them right there. And then I can click on list and see them. But look at this up here. It's a smart search. This uses the map that you have up here. So if I go up to the smart search and I type in something like Ford Elementary, Ford, would help if I type right, Ford Element, I'll just stop there. There's MLS areas, but there's also a jump to location. So if I type in Ford Elementary School right there on, no, that's in Ypsilanti, Michigan. I don't want that one. I want that one on Mars in Ackworth, Georgia. So watch, when I tap it, it's going to jump to that school. There's the school. Now remember, I'm not searching the school district, okay? All it did was jump me to that school for me to type in my search criteria there. So as I zoom out, I can see all the locations that are physically close to that school, not the school district, okay? That's a different criteria. Just jump me to that school, and now I can see all the listings that are really close to that elementary school. And there's other stuff there I could have typed in there too. Subdivision names, it would have jumped me to if I would have found them there. So I just want to show you, it's just using your map and it's just taking you there to that criteria there, okay? Okay, well that's map search. Remember, I can do a search by MLS number if I'd like to. I really wish I could show this, but I've got to be in Georgia or somewhere near a listing that's in there because I'm in Grand Rapids and there's nothing within 410 feet of where I'm physically standing at right now or sitting at right now. Here's my hot sheet. Hot sheet is, it's not the same hot sheet that you see in Matrix. Oh, and by the way, look at this. Remember there was 16 houses shown for Brent's cart there. Now there's 17. Remember I added that one there? Okay, so it is there. Coming soon. So when you first open up the hot sheet, it'll ask you for your property type. I only want residential. It'll ask you for your locations there. So I'm looking in Fulton County. Once you pick your counties here, then you go to next. What cities in that county do you want to search for? Okay. And I got all. Yeah, I got all up there. Okay. So if I go to next, now within the last 5 days, here's all the activity that's been going on in that county, in the schools, how many active listings and stuff. So it's just a hot sheet, kind of like that, but it's not the same one. And if I go to favorites there, these are all the listings that I saved as a favorites. And if I tap on one, I can unstar it, and now it's going to be out of my favorites. Okay. Okay, well, search down here. Let's kind of move forward here. Search down here just opens up my last map search that I had open, which was right there. But let's go to contacts. See my contacts here? If I go to Matrix and I go to contacts here, they're going to be the same ones, okay? Now, it's important to know that when I add a contact from MLS Touch, they need to have a first name, a last name, and an email address. Because if they don't have all three, they won't be in Matrix. Because if you remember in Matrix, you've got to have a first name, got to have a last name, and you got to have at least one email address. So if I add a contact today and they missing one of those, they will be here in MLS Touch. They just won't synchronize with Matrix until they have all three. So keep that in mind. Now you see the little indicators, the red notification circles here. Just let me know there's something new there. So if I click on Andy's name here, I can see there's 5 favorites, there's 4 discarded there. And by the way, this down here shows me everything I've sent to him in Matrix. So I've sent him those 3 listings there. Let me click on Brent's name here because I've sent him 29 properties, 17 listings in that cart. Do you remember right there? Here's his phone number, his email address, languages he speaks. He's discarded 7, but 3 of them are new. So if I look at this, you can see it's not viewed yet. Okay, so I just need to tap on it, and now that viewed went away. Now there's only 2 that I haven't seen there. If I tap on the top one there, now that one's no longer a new item there, and there's only 1 there. Go back to favorites, same thing there. Messages, remember that's only as good as he's installed the app, and he did. Look, 2 days ago, I shared it with him, and he's already installed it, and we can communicate now. I can hit edit and modify anything there, but let me hit close there. Let me go and add a new contact. I can manually type someone in one at a time, or I can bring him in from my mobile phone here that I've got. So when I do that, it's going to pull up all the contacts that I have on my cell phone. And yes, I can even pick all 1,040 of them and import them. I don't want to do that. That's going to be a lot, okay? So I'm just going to cancel that there. But just remember, if I say import from device, I could say any one of these people in here, okay? I'm kind of curious. Do I have James Arledge in there? I don't think I have James in my contact list here. So what I'm going to do is pick him. I'm going to pick James. He works for CoreLogic. I could pick multiple ones, by the way, but I'll just say done. And now, as long as he's got an email address, he's got a first and last name, he will be in matrix there. Okay. Leads. That's what I want to show you. You can use MLS Touch to get you new leads for you. Okay, so bear with me here. Ray Henry is a new lead. He's a friend of mine, a buddy of mine. He installed the app and he is now a lead. So it's letting me know that I've got a new lead. So when I click on his name, I've got an option to make or a decision to make. Do I reject them or do I accept them? So if I accept them, he will no longer be a new lead. He will now be a contact, and now we can communicate. He will show up in here. It's just got to refresh in there, but Ray will be here. And since I accepted him, Ray will eventually come into Matrix as well. Okay. But under leads, how do you get those leads? Well, stick with me. We're almost there. Okay. We're almost there. So I showed you contacts there. Let's go to members here. Members are other agents. These are people that belong to FMLS there. So if I'm working or need to contact a listing agent, and I used Jackie Presley the other day. So Jackie, if you're here, I'm going to give you a call here soon. Oop, Presley. Actually, I won't. I'm just acting like it. So if I pick on Jackie's contact record, I can see her listings, her pending listings, her office details. Here's her phone number. So I can reach out to her, email, text, phone, call, and stuff like that. Okay. So any member that's in First MLS there, I can search for. If I go to more, remember more is where the action takes place at there. So here's my save searches. You've already seen that on the home page. Remember my MLS Touch and my matrix searches there? You've already seen that there. Here's where I find my listings. If I click on this, these are my listings. I don't have any, but if I had some, they would be there for me. Members, that members there is the same members down there. There's a calculator, so if I need to use a calculator, there you go. Discover MLS Touch is just some tips and tricks that I can utilize there. Okay. I'm going to skip Brandon share for now because that's where I want to spend the remainder of this call today. But real quick, there's Facebook publishing tool. So you can connect this to your business page on Facebook. Okay. I think it's a Facebook rule that it has to be a business page on Facebook. But once you do that, that's one way you can generate leads if you start using your business page on Facebook in your marketing ads. So as people go there, they can download your app, your client app for them. Okay, and that's one way you get leads. You can automatically post your listings, price reductions, solds, and open houses. It'll automatically do it for you once you connect it there. Okay. Third-party integrations. I think it's worth looking at least one time. I think you want everything turned on, even that branding inside of your One Home client portal. So that way it won't be that generic teal blue and the One Home logo. And I think you want carts and searches and everything else that's synchronized there. Okay. Settings, I do want to have a shout out to tech support. I love our tech support here with MLS Touch. When you click on that button there and you say send us an email, what it does is starts an email to our tech support with MLS Touch, and it captures the app, the version of the app, my device, which is an iPhone 12, and that's the operating system version. That's the board I'm connected to, FMLS, and that's my login. And then all I have to do is right here is click and type in my message. This saves a lot of back and forth messaging with tech support because they know so much already when I first message them. So it did all that work for me. Okay. So again, that was under tech support, which is under your more button there. You can look at other stuff and you can log out and then log back in later if you want to, or just stay logged in. Okay. I'm going to click Brandon Share. Okay. First, when I go to Brandon Share, you see a little tutorial that talks about, what's going to happen when you brand. I'm just going to hit continue. I've already uploaded my logo, and I've already changed my color scheme to my company's color schemes. When you first come here, it won't be done. So what you might want to do first is look at the presets. We only have a few of them in here, but they're nationwide ones. So if you work for one of these companies here, we've already got your branding set for you. So you just choose the one that's there, and the logo and the color scheme is already there for you. Okay, we're working on a better way to allow your broker or brokerage to go in and do it for you. But until that happens, you're going to have to do this yourself if your company is not one of these in the pick list here. Okay, and guess what? My company isn't either. So what you're going to have to do, you're going to have your company logo on that same device that you have MLS Touch on. So I've had it sent to me. Okay, I sent it to myself. So when I hit select logo, it's going to pull up all the photos on my phone, and that's my phone. That's my dad goofing off in the store. That's my two puppies there. But I'm going to go to albums. There's my wedding pictures from a couple years ago. I'm going to click on the album I've got my logos in called CoreLogic. I'm going to tap on the one I like. And you can see up here, we recommend 400 by 100, which is really wide, but not that tall. But now I can just use my fingers and kind of zoom in and crop this the way I like it. Once I've got it the way I like it, I hit done down here, and I've got my logo there, okay? I haven't saved it yet. So that's the first step. Have someone email it or text it to you, but you've got to get it on the device that you're logged in to MLS Touch with. Next, you'll need to pick your color schemes. Now this will look a little different on an Android also, but when I click on primary here, it opens this up, and I'm on an iPhone. I can actually toggle to an RGB color scheme if I need to, or I can darken this or brighten it, and then I can just move that dot around to where I need it at. And then I say done. Then I can pick my secondary or my accent color and do the same thing, darken it, brighten it, and move it around. In fact, we'll make it a darker blue. How about that? Okay. And then I can do variant. Now, variant doesn't show up too often. Okay. So worst case, make it black and just leave it there because it won't show up many places. Once you're done, you can hit preview here and see what it looks like in an email or a listing layout. Okay. We'll close it down. I'm actually not going to save this here. Okay. That's what I would click on if I did want to save it. I'd say apply color and logo, but I'm not. I'm going to go out of this, and then I'm going to go back to more and back to brand and share right there. And I want to leave it. That's why I didn't save it, because I've already got my color scheme and my logo there, but that's how you would change it. Now, when you're done, like I said, you'd hit apply colors. There you go. It's done. You've branded it now. Now you're ready to share your app. But to demonstrate sharing your app, I'm going to go back to the home page here, because I want you to take these notes down, because there's two ways to share your app. This is something I had to learn the hard way many years ago when I first learned MLS Touch. I didn't know there was two ways to share your app. I just thought it was that last button that you just saw, share my app, but I was wrong. So here's what you got to do. Here's the first way you share your app. Go to your contacts and ask your question. Is the person I want to share it with already here in my contact list? So if I wanted to share this with Ray Henry, I would click on it and it would tell me if I've ever shared my app with Ray Henry. I would just click on it, and that is a link that I could text or email to Ray Henry, and it has a code. See right here, share this link with Ray Henry. Your branded app, you'll be able to share listings. See right there, that's his code for Ray Henry. It's a special code that connects me and him together. Okay. If I go to someone else like Jim Arledge that I just brought over from my mobile phone, I can share my app with him, and I've never done that before. And when I type on that, I can text or email him a link to mls-client.com/ and that's his code. Okay, that's the code that Jim Arledge or James Arledge would type in. So as you're seeing here, every contact that I have has their own special code that they type in. And that's how you share it with existing customers, okay? But I want to get leads. I think you do too. So how do you get leads? Well, if they're not in your list, you're going to have to go to the second place to share your app under the More button and where the brand and share option is. Here, I've already branded it, so guess what? I'm ready to share it. I'm ready to share it with everyone. So when I hit that button, I get the same options to text it or email to anyone I want to, but look at that code. This is still a link, a website link, but it has a code. That code, I want to share it with everyone who's not a contact of mine. That is my code. In fact, I can include this link in my email signature and post it on any marketing materials because that is my link with my code that I want people to download my branded app. Okay, so if I text or email this, look at the message that I see here. See that website link right there with my code? That's what I want to put in my email signature right there. And you might want to even type in a little message on your email signature or marketing material that if requested, here is to access my code, my app. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to hit cancel here. I'm going to copy, not just that entire link, I'm just going to copy that code right there. So let's pretend that I shared this with someone. What it does, it prompts them to download that app called MLS Client. But everyone can download that app. Anyone and everyone can download that app. But guess what? No one can log in without one of our codes. I want them to use my code. You want them to use your code. So if they go there, they need to type in a code. And if they type in my code and they hit done, they still can't get in until they give me their contact information. That's my logo. That's my color scheme. And let's say I shared this with another buddy of mine, John. So John goes in here because remember, he can't get in until he gives me his contact information. Now, I'm not saying it's real contact information. It could be fake stuff, but hopefully he gives me his real name. Hopefully he gives me his real phone number. And hopefully he gives me his real email address, okay? So I'm just gonna make up one here at mailinator.com. Okay, doesn't really matter. He gives me his contact information, and when he hits submit, now we let him in. Now he can use my branded app. He can do his own map search, his own advanced search. He can save his own searches. He can tag favorites, do an MLS number search, tips and facts, mortgage calculator, more. But now he can hit my agent and I'm his agent. Guess what? He can't work with anyone else using this app unless he goes to more button down here and he resets his code. Now he can work with someone else and not me. So he can only work with one of us at a time, and hopefully he'll stay with me. We'll go down here to more, but now he can do his InstaView as long as he's sharing his device with the app there, and he can see my contact information there. Okay. So now when I go into MLS Touch and I go to contacts, guess what? I've got a new lead right here. When I click on it, now he's not there yet. It's a refresh issue. Okay, give it a moment, but I will see. In fact, didn't mean to do that there. It actually kind of closed on me. Actually, it's probably a good thing it did because watch now. If I go back into contacts and I go to leads, John Russell is there. Now I've got a decision. He came in from my branded app less than an hour ago. That's his contact information. Do I accept or reject? If I accept, he is no longer a lead. He is now, and he will be here. And then eventually he will be here under contacts too. Okay. All right. Well, thanks you guys for your time today. I think you're really going to love this app. It's been out for many, many years, and I think using it there for first MLS there, you're just going to enjoy it there. Okay. All right. Well, thanks everyone. Hope you have a great day and take care. Thank you.